Good morning, dear students. In last video, I explained you that sound needs a material medium, that may be some gas, some liquid or solid for its propagation, and I also explained you that sound waves are the longitudinal waves and the sound reaches from the speaker to the listener in the form of compressions and rarefactions. Compressions, we can say, are the places of high pressure and high density where the air particles, or we can say particles of the medium, are present closer to each other, and these compressions are represented by the upper portion of the curve called crest, as you can see in this diagram. And rarefactions are the regions of low pressure and low density where the particles are far away from each other and are represented by the lower portion of the curve called trough, as shown in the diagram. And what is wavelength? A wavelength is the distance between two consecutive compressions or two consecutive rarefactions, that is called wavelength. Wavelength is represented by the symbol, that is a Greek letter called lambda, and its SI unit is meter. It means wavelength, as you can see, is the distance between two consecutive crest or two consecutive troughs. So this is the distance, that's why it is measured in meter and its SI unit is meter. uh, Now, what is frequency? Frequency means the number of oscillations per unit time is called the frequency of the sound wave. We have studied that whenever an object vibrates, it produces the sound waves. And what is vibration or oscillation? The movement of a body from one extreme position to the other and back to its original position is called oscillation, as we have studied in simple pendulum also. When it moves from its mean position, say O to A, then to B, and then back to O, that is called a complete oscillation or one vibration. So what is frequency of sound waves? Frequency means number of oscillations per unit time is called the frequency, and it is represented by the symbol nu, and its SI unit is hertz. If we want to calculate the frequency of any sound wave or any simple pendulum, we have to divide the number of oscillations by the total time taken. So there are certain numericals which are based in which we have to calculate the frequency. So in those numerical, we have to divide the number of oscillations by the total time taken. In this way, we can calculate the frequency of the sound waves, and its SI unit is hertz, which is represented in short form Hz. Now the next characteristic of the sound wave is time period. The time taken to complete one oscillation is called the time period of the sound wave. So we can say the time whatever is taken to complete one oscillation, it is reciprocal to frequency. So if we do 1 by f or 1 by nu, that is called the time period, or if we divide the total time by the number of oscillations, that is called time period of the sound wave. So we can say the value of time period is reciprocal to the value of frequency. In this way, we can calculate the time period of any sound wave or any simple pendulum. Since it is a time period, so its SI unit is second. Now the next characteristic of the sound wave is amplitude. Amplitude means the maximum disturbance from the mean position is called amplitude of the sound wave. Mean, or in other words, we can say the amplitude of sound wave is the height of the crest or trough. So in this way, we can calculate the amplitude, and it is represented by letter A. Its SI unit is the same as that of density or pressure. So in this way, we can calculate the amplitude of any sound wave. Now the next characteristic of sound waves is pitch and loudness. Firstly, I will describe about pitch. The pitch of sound, it is also called shrillness or flatness, depends on the frequency of the vibration. If the frequency is high, the sound has high pitch and it is highly shrilled. And if the frequency is low, then the sound is low pitched and its frequency is also low. So in this way we can say pitch, shrillness, and third one is frequency are interconnected to each other. If frequency is high, pitch and shrillness is also high. The loudness of sound depends upon next one is loudness. Loudness is equal to the square of amplitude. If the amplitude is bigger or if the amplitude is larger, it means the sound will also be louder. So we can say loudness of any sound depends on the amplitude of the sound wave. Generally it is seen that and its SI unit is decibel. So we can say loudness is measured in a unit called decibel. When the loudness is above 80 decibel, 80 decibel, then the noise becomes physically painful. So in this way we can calculate the loudness by doing the square of amplitude. Now the speed of sound. The speed of sound is also different in different medium. The speed of sound is more in case of solids, less in liquids, and least in gases. Along with this, the speed of the sound also depends on the temperature of the medium. If the temperature is high, the speed is also high. Speed can be calculated by the given formula. Speed is equal to wavelength into frequency, that is lambda into nu. So in this way we can calculate the speed of the sound. Here is given the speed of sound in different solids, liquid, and gases. As you can see in this table, the speed of sound is highest in case of solids, then lesser in liquid, and least in case of gases. Now next topic is reflection of sound. As we know, whenever light strikes a smooth surface, it gets reflected back. Means bouncing back of light on striking a plane mirror is called reflection of sound. In the same way, like light, sound also gets reflected at the surface of solid or liquid, and it also follows the same rule of reflection. That is, there are two laws of reflection. The angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection. The incident ray, the reflected ray, and normal at the point of incidence all lie in the same plane. Here incident ray means the ray of sound or ray of light which strikes any surface, and the ray which comes back after striking, that is called reflected ray. And the angle made by the incident ray with the normal is called incidence angle, and the angle made by the reflected ray with the normal is called the angle of reflection. So these are the two laws which are also followed by the sound. Here is given an activity to prove the reflection of sound. Take two pipes of the same length and arrange them on a table near a wall or metal plate, and we have to keep a clock near the open end of one pipe, and we will try to hear the sound of the clock through the other pipe by adjusting the position of the pipe. Now we have to measure the angle of incidence and reflection. Then lift the second pipe and try to hear the sound. In this case we will see that the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, and the incident ray, reflected ray, and normal all lie in the same plane. It means we will be able to hear the sound only when the angle of incidence is equal to the angle of reflection, means when both the pipes are at equal angle to the smooth surface. So this activity proves that sound is also reflected back when it strikes a plane surface. Now what is echo? Whenever we go some auditorium or some hills, we sometimes we hear the same sound back, that is called echo. Echo means if we shout or clap near a reflecting surface like tall building or a mountain, we hear the same sound again, and this is called echo. This sound which we hear is called echo, and echo is also caused due to reflection of sound. How we can hear the what are the conditions to hear an echo? The conditions to hear an echo clearly is that the time interval between the original sound and the echo must be at least zero point 0.1 second. If this is the time interval between the original sound and the reflected sound, only then we can hear the echo. Since the speed of sound, as we know, speed of sound in air is 344 meter per second and time is 0.1 second. So the distance travel will be, as we know, distance is equal to speed into time. So it will come 34.4 meter. So to hear any echo from this equation or from this numerical, we come to know the minimum distance of the reflecting surface should be half of this distance, that is 17.2 meters. So any object should be at least 17.2 meter away from us to hear the echo. So you should know echo is just heard due to reflection of sound. Next one is reverberation. Reverberation means sometimes echoes may be heard more than once due to repeated or multiple reflection of sound from several reflecting surfaces. So we can say multiple reflection of echo is called reverberation. In big halls or auditoriums, to reduce reverberations, the roofs and walls are covered by sound absorbing materials like compressed fiber boards, rough plaster or draperies. So this is the main problem of multiple reflection, due to which sometimes we hear the same sound again and again. That's why in auditorium some sound absorbing materials are fitted in the ceilings. Now what are the uses of multiple reflection of sound? But sometimes these multiple reflection of sound is also useful, like in megaphones, horns, musical instruments like trumpets, shehnais, etc. are designed to send sound by multiple reflection in a particular direction without spreading it in all directions. Even doctor listen to the sound from the human body through a stethoscope, and through the stethoscope the sound of heartbeat reaches to the doctor ear through multiple reflections. And generally the ceilings of cinema halls and auditoriums are curved so that sound after multiple reflection reaches all parts of the hole. Sometimes a curved soundboard is placed behind the stage so that the sound after multiple reflections spreads evenly across the hole. So these are certain applications of multiple reflection of sound. So today you will study about characteristics of sound and the reflection of sound. Thank you. Have a nice day.